Hello and welcome. You're watching Diplomatic Corner here at AMN. I am Alinta Miskin with the program. Today I am sitting with Dr. Gamachis Desta, owner and CEO of Cambridge Academy and many more businesses here in the metropolis. We will be discussing the importance of city diplomacy and good governance or leadership for the creation of a smart city and the standard of living for all. So don't go away and stay with us. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Make introduction of yourself for those who are watching you for the first time here on our TV.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Gamachis, actually Reverend Dr. Gamachis. I'm originally a pastor from Ethiopia who migrated to the United States for education. And I got many years in the United States, close to a quarter of a decade. No, quarter of a century.
Long time.
25 years.
Oh.
25 years in the United States, in Atlanta, Georgia, in Philadelphia, Chicago, in Ohio, and then finally came back to Ethiopia to invest and develop businesses, projects, and ministries. So at this moment, I am the founder and the leader of Cambridge Academy and Lead Star Education System, planting schools in many other cities. And yeah, my focus is on Christian ministry and also education sector.
Thank you for your brief introduction. Before discussing city diplomacy and diplomatic issues, I just want you to tell us the relationship between, because you lived so many years in America, and tell us about your experience in there and the relationship between Ethiopia and America.
It's two beautiful countries, both the United States. I consider both countries as my own country. And, I grew up in a communist Ethiopia. And during communism, we experienced so many horrible experiences as a family. My father was in prison and my mother was also in prison shortly. And we lost everything that we had and we went through so much pain. So when I left Ethiopia to go to the United States, I left never to return. I did not have a good experience of Ethiopia growing up because of the political circumstances at that time. And when I went to the United States and got off the plane and saw the US flag, I thought I came to my own country. So I loved the freedom, I loved the opportunities that we experienced in the United States. But both countries are immensely important in the history of the world, both Ethiopia and the United States. Both countries are full of gifted and talented people, and many years of relationship between the two countries. And Ethiopians are making significant impact in the United States, both in economy, politics, education, in many sectors. Ethiopian diaspora are really making a lot of progress in the United States. You see a lot of Ethiopian professors, full professors in many universities, medical doctors, nurses, businessmen, real estate owners, transportation owners. And recently I found out there are a lot of hotel and nightclub owners also for example, in Atlanta, Georgia. So Ethiopians are making huge impact in the United States. At the same time, there are a lot of impact and significant history that has been done by American citizens, American government, American NGOs, American human rights organizations, American aid organizations, impacting the economy, politics, culture, and education and religious aspect of Ethiopia. So both countries are interrelated, interconnected in many sectors, and I pray and I hope that will even continue to expand and grow deeper and stronger.
That's great. So while you were living in there, would you, envisage the development to be, happening in your own country, Ethiopia, and tried to find out the secret behind for their civilization and transformation?
That's a very good question. Recently, I was looking at Singapore, especially since our Prime Minister and a lot of leaders visited Singapore, and there was a big talk about Singapore. And three things that really impacted the development of Singapore that I found out is one, the unified language that people spoke. And number two is the value of education and educated manpower, human capital. And the third is dealing with corruption by compensating and paying government employees good salary so that they will not be tempted to go a different route. And there is a similar experience in the United States. The unity, the country went through so much pain to be united. First, on language, do we speak French, German, English? There was a lot of discussion and debate. And during the Revolutionary War, getting rid of the British colony, America becoming on its own. And the other one is the fight between the North and the South during President Abraham Lincoln, the American Civil War that really consumed hundreds of thousands of American lives. Now dealing with that issue, with that conflict and settling that once and for all, uniting the country, calling themselves the United States of America, the United States of America, all states united under one federal government while respecting and honoring the autonomy and independence and creativity and leadership, governance of states. Settling that constitutionally, democratically, practically, educationally, it was a big project. That project is not, by the way, it's not 100% perfectly completed in the United States. It's a progress in the making. So having those kinds of really settled and at the same time, and then education. The United States really works a lot on education. Universities are full. It's one of the highly, highly educated country with access to education, whether it's public, private, higher education, primary education. And then last, avoiding corruption in the country. These are the kinds of pillars that we see in the United States. That is also coming to Ethiopia. And Ethiopia, as I see now, is a country very, very, very eager to grow and to prosper and to take the track of prosperity and democracy and wealth creation and also green energy development. And the country, and agriculture and education, the country is really trying to get into the same lane that took other countries into a developed state. So the country is in the right direction, and once we finalize this project of being united as one country, settling our political disputes, our ideological differences, and then getting united, I think we can be on the right track to even get bigger and stronger as a country.
Let me take you to the issue of Addis Ababa city. How do you describe the capital city of Africa, not only Ethiopia, Africa in general, a diplomatic seat for international organizations, right? So how did you describe and the current status in comparison with the previous one?
Thank you for asking that question. I love Addis Ababa very much because it's a city of my birth. I was born here in Addis Ababa, Gulale, at St. Paul Hospital. So that's where I was born. So this is a city of my origin. I love this city. It's a beautiful city with a lot of potential. But as you know, for many, many years, the development of the city was stagnant. It was not going fast, it was not going clean, it was not going green, it was not, the beautification, the improvement of infrastructure was really weak. Now Addis Ababa is like removing its old blanket and becoming new, fresh morning. And it's becoming so beautiful, so clean, so green, so energetic. I can't wait for September when the new year comes, when the sun is bright, when the streets are clean, when people are even more relaxed, removing their rain jacket and starting to walk on the street with their t-shirts. I'm looking forward to see bikers biking, walkers walking, drivers driving in the proper lane, businesses coming back and coming up. So it's a country, it's a city with beautiful perspective, and what we're seeing these days is just incredible. And I am also part of that, and as soon as you guys finish this interview, there will be machineries cleaning up the street, and I'm demolishing my fence to expand the street. So it is also impacting us, but since it is for the good of the country, we're doing it joyfully.
On top of what you just mentioned, do you believe that the city has ever been comfortable and livable for its residents and the diplomatic community residing here?
It was really difficult. The name is big, you know, when you see, they used to call Addis Ababa, or no, they used to call Africa the dark continent. When you fly over Europe, when you fly over the United States, when you fly even parts of Asia, the cities are like lit at night. It's just so bright, also in the Middle East. But when you drive into Africa, you see little bits of lights here and there, and they call it the dark continent. That's changing. For example, Ethiopia is becoming one of the most energy efficient, energy independent and powerful country. So you see a huge difference. Whether it is, you know, the city what makes the city livable is, number one, availability of housing, electricity, water, road infrastructure, safety, security, and also availability of medical services, school services, entertainment, nightlife, day life, all of those things. So that was way, way, way low before. But now, whether it comes to housing, medical facilities, hotels, entertainment places, places to walk, places to swim, places to hike, it's really improving. So it's becoming a good livable environment for the diplomatic community, for expats, in general for the international community, and also for the local community.
So you were saying that the Addis Ababa City Administration is just making sure that good standards of living for all.
I really appreciate what they're doing, especially the current Addis Ababa City Administration. It's making the city like New York. You know, in New York, they say a city that never sleeps. And Addis Ababa is becoming a city that doesn't sleep, because the last couple of days I had meetings late at night, and when we drove back, you see city administration people working on the street, walking on the street, like welders welding and electricians working and people cleaning and masonry workers and construction workers working. So yes, I'm an eyewitness to what I see, that the administration is really making sure that the city becomes efficient, strong, and well developed.
That's great. So let's talk about city diplomacy. You know, just tell us your insights about city diplomacy and its agendas. It's not that much known by people, right? So what we're just observing here in the metropolis is the result of city diplomacy as well.
Yes. City and diplomacy, you're using two big words. You know, city is a center of geographical proximity where people live together in a culture, in a political system, in an economic system that unifies and creates a setting, a platform whereby people can live together. City diplomacy is, having that relationship with the diplomatic community and at the same time with other cities internationally, globally. And if people are coming from Nairobi or from Tokyo or from New York or from London or from Melbourne, that they feel comfortable and they find the same lifestyle that they have experienced in their home countries when they come here, that they're not lowering their expectation and lowering their experience. And at the same time, having a great relationship between cities and citizens and travelers and tourists. It's becoming the aspiration, not only, you know, in the government, even in the public. People are saying we have to make our city livable, nice. It brings money, it brings work, it brings services, it brings opportunities. So it's a culture is being created both in the political community, in the public community, to make sure that city diplomacy works.
How about the endeavor by the Addis Ababa City Administration to partner with other big international cities and making agreements as well for mutual development? How do you observe?
That's fantastic. One of the cities that I love, one of the things that I loved when I was in Chicago is Chicago had a relationship with Addis Ababa. But now under this administration, Washington DC and Denver, Colorado, and even other cities in other
Atlanta mayor also came.
Atlanta mayor. The Atlanta mayor came and I even hosted
Yes.
the mayor. We went to the same university with the lady who was leading that. We went to the same university setting in Atlanta. So that is really fantastic, creating sister cities, learning from one another, exchanging experiences, exchanging expertise, and when you see the flag of the United States and the flag of Ethiopia exchanging, people acknowledging one another, respecting one another, that's a great opportunity. I even saw there is a Washington Square right here in Addis. There is a Washington Monument in a short form. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So tell us, briefly the importance of working in partnership with these big cities. What benefits Addis Ababa City will acquire?
Thank you. As you know, I read the Bible a lot. In the Bible, in the book of Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, it says, "It is not good to be alone." It's not good to be alone. So no country, no city, no business can thrive or can grow alone. So yes, Addis Ababa is a prominent city, way older than 100 years since its formation, but it has been in relationship with these countries for many, many years. But now, having partnership with cities like Washington, D.C., Denver, Colorado, Atlanta, Georgia, or Chicago, or London, or Paris, it is exchanging experience, creating partnership, tourism, business, diplomacy, politics, and all kinds of public and political relationship is significant. So what the city administration is doing, just like the foreign ministry of Ethiopia is doing, at the city level, having these kinds of partnership with various cities in the world is really significant. Now people are saying in Atlanta, Georgia, we have a sister city. For example, with Atlanta, there is a huge potential of the black community, the African American community. That's, as you know, that's the city for Martin Luther King, the birth of civil rights movement, CNN, Coca-Cola, historic black universities and colleges. I went to one. And all these available, they consider Ethiopia as the holy land of the black people. Just like the Jews look at Israel as the holy land, just like the Muslim community looks at Mecca as the holy land, black community around the world looks Ethiopia as the holy land of the black community. And one day what I want to see is the African American community or the black community in the United States to start taking trips and see the religious, historical, there are so many incredible, tangible and intangible artifacts and significant factors attracting them as tourists. They can go and see the historic sites in the north, the Lalibela and the Gondar and all of those places. And they can come to the south in Sof Omer, in Abajifar, in the Walaga, the Bakare Museum, and the intangible ones, the Irecha, the Gada, and what they see in Aksum. And there are so many things to be seen. And at the same time, Ethiopia being a country that has been never colonized and protected its independence and the homeland for African Union, oh my God, you can't list. The opportunity is great. The people are beautiful, the food is beautiful, the music is beautiful, the weather is beautiful, the landscape is incredible. So this can be a great tourist magnet, economic magnet, to attract expats, tourists and people like that, if we make it convenient, comfortable, and peaceful, then we can attract. So my hope is for my friends and my brothers and sisters in North America and in Latin America to see the holy land of black people, which is Ethiopia, to come and enjoy and visit.
Thank you so much indeed, Dr. Gamachis, for your time and being on our program. And I hope I'll be coming and discussing other issues with you in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Blessings.
Well, viewers, you have enjoyed the program with Dr. Gamachis Dasta here on our program. Until we come up with other guests next week, many thanks for watching and goodbye for now.